Hey everybody, Melissa here. I wanted to do a quick little video for you around wrist strength and mobility. So these are just a few things that you can do that you can incorporate into your practice right away to help increase your range of motion and your strength at your wrist joints, because I feel like we do a lot of supporting ourselves on our hands in yoga, but I don't see a lot of preparation for that. So this sequence can really help translate into less pain, less soreness in postures like plank and chaturanga, even downward facing dog, and of course, obviously arm balances and things where you're supporting the entire weight of your body on your wrist. This would certainly help out. So these are just a few things. You can, as always, take what resonates and throw out the rest. But I'll start with first just creating strength in your right side. So if we're focusing on the right wrist, you would just make a fist here and what we call irradiate. So like create a healthy amount of tension in this side of your body, and then just work at flexing and extending your wrist. So just forward and back. And you want to get the sense that these muscles are working. And so I'm moving slow here, and I might even pay attention to my end range of flexion and my end range and extension, and kind of really see what that is. So, I feel like the slower you go here, the more information you can glean from your experience. Because in a lot of our postures, we're asking ourselves to come into these end ranges and support our body weight. So just getting a sense that, what is your end range can be really valuable, useful information. So once you go forward and back in that flexion and extension, then try to just go from side to side, right? So you're just moving from side to side. And again, I'm continuing, to keep all these muscles really strong. I want to feel like my shoulders working, the muscles around my elbow joint are working, and of course around my wrist. So you're moving side to side. And then after you've done that, then see if you can make slow, controlled articulations. And this is where I see lots of folks just, trying to really get it going here. Slow is the name of the game here, you guys. Slow, controlled articulations, where you can really feel like your muscles in your forearms are working. And I'm also making sure that I'm not pronating and supinating at my forearm. So if you were to take your left hand around your right forearm, you want to not feel the bones moving underneath your hand, underneath this left hand. And you're going in both directions, you guys. Slow, controlled articulations, and then shake it out. And then you do that same sequence on your left side. And I always encourage people, like, before you switch to the other side, take a moment and notice, what difference do you feel? Give your body, give your brain a chance to assimilate what's happened, what you've just experienced. So again, other side, make sure you get a sense that everything's working on that left side of the body, and forearm muscles are strong as you flex and extend forward and back. Slow, controlled movement. Left and right, side to side. And notice the difference, right, of the mobility in both sides. Of course, we're doing the slow, controlled articulations now. So slow circles. And again, you can kind of pause in your end range of flexion or extension and just kind of take note of where that is. Make sure you can keep those muscles turned on as you're in that position, and you're not just what I like to call hanging out in your joint, but you feel a sense of support, bringing you in and out of these movements, of these shapes, right? Asana is just a shape. It's just a container for your experience. All right, both directions. And then shake it out, right? And then again, just notice, like, how does that feel in your body? And then interlace your fingers bring your palms to face forward, and then you're extending out through the elbows. And what we're looking for here is that we're not arching or rounding the spine. I'm neutral here to the best of my ability. And then I'm not reaching my arms forward so that I'm protracting my shoulders, but my shoulders are plugged in. I feel that sense of broadening across my collarbones. And then from this place, I'm just pressing my palms forward, and then I'm gonna try to lift my arms up over my head, only to the extent that I don't arch my spine here. I'm gonna take the shirt off here so you can kind of see a little bit better what that might look like. So preventing the low ribs from thrusting forward in space, from jutting out, right? That would kind of look like this. So I'm not doing that. I'm keeping the natural curves present. And then just release. And then once you've given that a go, I would come onto the mat and I would bring a blanket here just to support your knees, because we'll be here for a little bit. And once you come into your tabletop position, again, we're looking for a neutral spine, so I'm not collapsing or rounding my back here, but the natural curves in my spine are present to the best of my ability. And then I'm introducing load into the wrist joints here. So my shoulders are stacked over my wrist. If that's too much, you can always lean back, right? And that'll take some of that load bearing off of those joints. Now from here, what we're gonna play with is bringing the hands or bringing the fingertips towards the midline of the body, and then just shifting your weight from side to side. So that kind of looks like this, right? And I'm trying to keep my elbows straight. And you might notice, like, is the tendency here to have the elbows bent, or can I come into that extension of the elbows and flexion of the wrist joints? Or excuse me, I guess this would be extension of the wrist joints. And you're just moving from side to side, exposing them to this different angle while supporting weight. And then you might, oh yeah, this is my favorite. So on an inhale, we're gonna take a bend in the elbows and then slowly lower with control. And we're trying to lower at the same time here. Elbows come out to the side, and then on your exhale, press down with your hands as you lift yourself up, extending back through the elbows. And we'd go for 3 times here, right? So one more, taking a bend in the elbows, trying to lower with control. I'm not collapsing into my low back. And then on the exhale, I press down, find that end range of extension through the elbows. And then lower down one more time, slow and controlled, and then press it right back up. And then from here, can we turn the fingertips towards the knees? So spiraling the inner eyes of my elbows forward, and then you can move your weight forward and back. Again, just introducing a little dynamic movement, a little load in this different angle of my wrist joints, right? And I could move forward and back here. And what I might notice as I shift my weight back, we can see where you can see this. As I shift my weight back, I'm noticing, do the heels of my palms lift up or not? You know, what is my end range of extension in the wrist joints as I come back? And maybe hanging out there for a bit, just really getting a sense of what that feels like, okay? Stretching out the front of the arms. And then lastly, let's turn the palms to face up. So I'm this way, palms are facing up. And again, fingertips are gonna reach towards the midline of the body. And then from this place, let me get back on my little blanket here. I'm gonna try to lower down again with control. With the palms facing up, fingertips reaching towards the midline. I'm gonna inhale, lower. Again, trying not to collapse in my low back. Exhaling as I press my elbows, or as I straighten back up. Inhaling as I lower, elbows bend out to the side. I'm lowering with control. Exhaling as I press up. We'll do it one more time to face the front. And again, looking to see it, can my elbows straighten here, right? I lower down with control. Exhale as I press back up, and you might notice, like, is one side leading the other? It's a great way to kind of notice any imbalances in the two sides of your body. And then go ahead and sit back on your feet, shake it out a bit. And then we'll come back down. And then for this next one, we're gonna shift our weight all the way back, coming into a child's pose. And then we'll lift the index finger, only the index finger, and try to really root down through the finger mounds, so where your fingers meet your palms. And then lift back up, keeping only the index finger lifted, and then tap it out. Lower back down, send your weight back into your heels. We're gonna lift the middle finger, just the middle finger on both sides. Lift back up, maybe bringing the shoulders over the wrist, and it could start to feel difficult here to keep that lone finger lifted. You'll tap it out. Shift your weight back. We'll lift just the ring finger here. And this one is always the hardest for me. Try to keep just your ring finger lifted. Shift your weight forward, tap it out. And then lastly, we'll come back, lift the pinky finger, shift our weight forward in space, shoulders come over the wrists, and then the pinky fingers tap out. And then can you lift your palms to where your fingers meet your palms, your finger mounds, as I like to call them, and then lower with control. So we're lowering to where the heels of the palms touch the mat, but I'm still feeling a sense of resistance there. I'm not dumping into my wrist creases or bending at my elbows. See if you can keep your elbows straight if you can. Lifting up into the finger mounds again, so where the fingers meet the palms, and then lowering with control. And let's do that one more time. Inhaling as we lift. Notice if the index finger mound wants to lift, that one's kind of difficult sometimes. And you might feel a deep stretch here. And then lower back down. Nice. And then finally, you might try to lift yourself up into a downward facing dog here, still keeping that resistance, right? Where the heels of your palms meet the mat. You could imagine someone's coming over and just getting the tip of their index finger right underneath your wrist joint. And you want to maintain that sense of lift right at the base of your palm, so that you're never collapsing into the wrist joints, right? But you feel that sense of really spiraling down through the palms and experiencing a natural lift right in the middle there in the center. So hopefully that is helpful, or that was helpful for you, and you'll experience a new sense of freedom and strength in your wrist joints to help keep you safe and have your asanas be a little bit more pleasurable to experience. So thanks for watching. Take care.